Good morning, guys. It is, let's see, Tuesday night for us, Wednesday morning for you guys. Um, you guys know what that means, right? Huh? What? What does it mean? That's right. Bible study tonight. Wednesday night, every single Wednesday, we have Bible study at 7 o'clock. It is the only time to truly be interactive with us, guys, because as you know, these are pre-recorded, these devotionals. That way you get them. We release them at 3 o'clock in the morning. We schedule them to be released at 3 o'clock in the morning. That way those on the East Coast can get it at 6 in the morning. So these devotionals are pre-recorded. The Sunday sermons are live, but I can't really be interactive with you if I'm preaching from the pulpit. So Wednesday is the only time to really be interactive with us, unless you find me going live, But other than that, I think we have a great Bible study going. It's interactive. You get to ask questions. I usually have my phone or my tablet right next to me, so as you're commenting, I can read the comments, and sometimes if you have a question or whatever, I can answer it as long as it pertains to the Bible study that we're doing, But yeah, we are going to start the book of Daniel, and I'm really excited about it. I don't know if I've ever done a in-depth study on the book of Daniel. If I have, it's been years. So and in case you're wondering why would we read Daniel, well, let me say this, because I know this might catch your interest. Is a lot of people like to read the book of Revelations, or many would like to understand the book of Revelations. First, let me premise that by saying there's no way we could ever fully understand the book of Revelation, but by understanding the book of Daniel, it will help you in understanding some of Revelation. I would never guarantee that you or I could ever have full knowledge of what everything that pertains in the book of Revelation. But nevertheless, a lot of times things in context too, we got to understand is the book of Revelation was actually written 2,000 years ago at a time with things that happened. So a lot of the things that many people say, oh, this is about to happen, has already happened. Yeah, it was prophetic for John as he's writing it, but these things happened after John, and that helps to understand a little bit. This is why it's so important to understand just world history and some of the things that have happened around the world, And so, by the way, we make these shirts. It doesn't say champion, it says Christian. If that's something you're interested in, just let me know. And I used to have shirts on our website, but I don't do it anymore because I would always have a whole bunch of inventory, and like the one size somebody would order was the one I didn't have, and then I felt bad because it would take weeks and weeks for me to actually get them their copy. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that anymore, because I used to have a catalog on the website. So but just that's why I say don't. The reason I say to email me, if you ever see me wear a shirt you're interested in, just email me first. That way I'll let you know straight up, hey, yeah, we do got that, or we don't got it. Because what I don't want is for somebody to pay for a shirt and then it takes 2 months for you to get it. That's not fair to you. At the same time, if we don't have that inventory, we don't. So if you're interested in a shirt like this, let me know, and I'll let you know straight up if we have it available or not, and then I could just invoice you. Other than that, on the channel, there is a catalog there. That's from YouTube, so that goes straight to you. If you order those things, there's mugs, there's a sweater, there's anything on that under the YouTube channel. That stuff does get sent to you directly from a third company that YouTube has partnered with. So all you got to do is order it. They handle it. It doesn't even go into my hands, and they send it out and ship it to you. So anyways, I wanted to talk about the scripture today. I'm still here at the church, and I said, you know what? I'm going to get this devotional out the way. That way I know that it's already there for you guys, so you guys can have a devotional. So in Psalm 37, I want to read out of that. Psalm chapter 37. Let's see. Let's do verse 23. And maybe we'll do that verse and a couple more after it. I don't know. Let's see what the Holy Spirit leads us to do. But in Psalm 37:23 says this, and this is the verse I like very much. It says, the steps of a man are established by the Lord. The steps of a man. And this is talking to women too. This is us, mankind, humans, that our steps are established by the Lord. So in a sense, like, I grew up in the country, and on out there in the fields and out there in the levees where the rivers are at, I used to have my bike, and you never want to go through on a bike places where there could be rocks or could be this or that. So there used to be a lot of motorcycles back then, ATVs, three-wheelers, dirt bikes, and eventually over time, they would leave a trail, because the tires would go over it so much that the grass would die there or whatever was there. So it was very easy to follow the path that the motorcycles left, that the dirt bikes left, and they would, create these ramps and whatnot out there, and it was a lot of fun back then on my BMX. So it was just a lot easier, to follow in that way. Sorry guys, I'm just checking this real quick. Okay. And so I knew on my BMX bike that I was least likely to hit a rock or to, hit maybe a big hole or something. I was going to be a lot safer if I followed after the trails that the dirt bikes would leave out there in the country. Especially out by the levee, there was trees and hills. There was little areas that look almost like woods, forest. And I would use whatever the dirt bikes did, because it was so well traveled that the dirt bikes would also harden the dirt, so it was a lot smoother and easier for me to pedal on. And that's what it makes me think about here, because it says the steps of a man are established by the Lord. So the Lord, in a sense, he makes a path for us, guys. He makes a path for us. You know what the problem is? That many times we don't want to follow his path. We want to follow our own path, and that's where it leads to problems. Because see, if I follow the path on my dirt bike, on my BMX, that other people had left, it was the least resistance. Because if I went off the path, there was chances I was going to hit a rock. There was chances I was going to hit a pothole. There was chances I was going to hit something or not be safe, or branches or thorns. There's a lot of thorns out there, so I was going to get flats on my on my tires. So it's like, if I want to veer from the path that was laid before me, the chances of me being hurt are raised. The chances are greater that something happened, that I be hurt. And that's the thing, is that we don't want to follow the path that God has laid for us. And then when things go wrong, we blame God. We'll say things like, God, if you were real, if you really loved me, I wouldn't have gone through this. I wouldn't have gone through that. I wouldn't be in this prison. I wouldn't be in addiction. I wouldn't, all these things. And the whole time the Lord is like, wait a second, I laid a path for you. You didn't take it. You chose the path of resistance, and now it's my fault. And so, but right here it says the steps of a man are established by the Lord when he delights in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be cast headlong, for the Lord upholds his hand. So the Lord establishes our steps, and he says, when you walk in the path that I have laid for you, and even if you do stumble and fall, I am right there to catch you. That's why a lot of times, like, remember when the disciples were in the boat, and Jesus was taking a nap, and a storm came, and the disciples started freaking out, and they're just like, we're gonna drown, and to the point where they woke Jesus up. And what did Jesus do? He rebuked them. He says, oh, you of little faith. Why do you think Jesus got upset? I'll tell you why. Did they really think they were gonna drown with the Creator that made those winds, that made those waves, that made that ocean, that made those clouds, that made the lightning? That, matter of fact, the book of Job, he says, he tells Job, he goes, He goes, do you call lightning and thunder and it shows up and says, here I am? The Lord calls the shots, guys. It would be impossible for creation to drown the Creator. And if he's in the boat with them, it was impossible for those men to perish. Now, I want you to get this in your head right now. The moment you surrender your life to the Lord, he is now in your boat. So now you follow the path. He is there with you. So even if those things cause you to stumble, because unfortunately we're still on this side of eternity. We're still in this flesh that can get sick, that can get hurt. A car accident will still hurt me in the same way it'll hurt a non-believer. In the same way, but nevertheless, the steps of a man are established by God when he delights in his way. And even though I fall, I shall not be cast headlong, for the Lord upholds my hand. In other words, regardless of what happens to this body, the Lord still has me. Guys, it doesn't end here. This isn't all there is. There is another side of eternity. And we are on this side right now. But it doesn't stop. And no matter what happens in your life, in the trauma that happens or whatever that happens, he has us by his hand. So that's why it says the steps of a man are established by the Lord. You know, and I don't know about you, but I find great comfort that when I'm seeking after the Lord and doing what I'm supposed to do, which is follow the Great Commission and share the gospel of Jesus Christ, that I know that I am walking in the path that he has laid for me, in the same way those dirt bikes laid the path for my BMX bike. And then it says this, if we keep reading, it says, I have been young and now am old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken. I love that. I love that because it's true, because when you're young, and even now sometimes I'll be honest with you, man, I think this, as I'm like, Lord, how come the people that don't serve you are more blessed than I am? Why is that? Why is it that they have a better life than I have? But I'll be honest with you, the older I get, the less I think that. Look what he says, I have been young and now I'm old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken. What he's saying, he goes, I have never seen somebody walk right in your ways and yet be forsaken. And now don't get it twisted. Don't take this verse as if you follow in his ways, nothing will happen to you. That's not what that means. Just look at what happened. Look what ISIS did when they went village to village beheading Christians. So you would be like, well, if they're Christian following Christ, why did they get murdered? Why did families get left without fathers because the fathers were beheaded? No, that's not what this is saying. Look what it says. He says, I have been young and now I'm old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken. You know what forsaken means? To be left alone. So in other words, he says, I used to be young, but now I'm old. But what I've never seen is somebody walking in righteousness, walking in right standing with God. And I have never seen somebody walking in righteousness and have seen them forsaken. I've never seen them abandoned. See, here's the thing. We might go through troubles and trauma in life. Being a Christian does not cancel you out of pain and suffering. But what it does cancel you out of is being abandoned by God. He says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Somebody would say, well, that means the same thing. Leaving and forsaking. No. Listen. A husband or a wife can never leave their spouse, but they forsake their spouse. Because even though you're in the same room, your heart and your mind is somewhere else. So what Jesus is saying, what the Lord is saying, is not only will I not leave you, but my mind will never be somewhere else either. My mind will always be with you. I will never forsake you, the Lord says. In my heart and my mind, I will always be here with you. So that's why it says here, I have been young and now am old. So in other words, he goes, I'm old enough to understand that people die, people fall, people have sickness, people die of disease, people die of horrible deaths, people are murdered, things happen. He goes, but I realize that has nothing to do with God, because this flesh is going to die no matter what. He says, but what I understand now is that those that walk righteously in a right standing with God, God will never forsake them. He will never forget them. He will never leave them. And that's something that we have to learn to understand, because if you go into your Christianity thinking that everything's going to be perfect, well, guess what? The first time something unperfect happens, you're going to leave the Lord. You're going to leave church. You're going to leave Christianity. And this city, and probably your city, is full of people that said, oh, I did the Jesus thing, but my mom still died. I did the Jesus thing, but I still lost my job. I did the Jesus thing, but this, or did Jesus thing, but that. And you know what that shows me? That shows me that they were still little tiny babies in their understanding of who their God is. Because God never promised a good life. What he did promise is he would never leave you. This is why I've always told people that nobody did my time with me in prison. Not my mom, not my dad. Yeah, they visited me, but eventually they went home to the comfort of their couches and their beds. My family visited me, and I thank God so much for them, but they went home. They enjoyed, dinner on the dinner table. They enjoyed sleeping in on their comfortable beds. They enjoyed sitting around the living room talking and laughing. And I didn't enjoy those things for those 6 years. Now, I'm so grateful that they came to visit me, but they didn't do the time with me. Yeah, and my family did time because I was locked up, but not like I did time. Why do I say that? Because I remember telling the Lord, on my last days, I stood at the gate about to be released finally, 2010, after being locked up from 2004, 6 years. And I remember standing at the gate and telling the Lord, Lord, I will never leave you because you never left me. Every single year, month, week, day, hour, minute, and second, you, Lord, you did this time with me. It feels like, Lord, I know you're in heaven, but at the same time, I feel like you were here in my cell. You were my cellie. You were my bunkie. You never left me nor forsook me. Lord, I truly felt like you did 6 years with me, and you didn't have to be in here with me. Why would you be in this dreadful place? You could have just left me and just met me at the gate once I got out, but you did every single second with me because I was walking in a righteous path, and he never left me or forsook me. He upheld my hand. And like it says in 25, I have been young and now I'm old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, or his children begging for bread. He is ever lending generously, and his children become a blessing. What a beautiful, beautiful passage, man. I'm going to keep reading. Turn away from evil and do good. So shall you dwell forever. For the Lord loves justice. He will not forsake his saints. They are preserved forever. But the children of the wicked shall be cut off. Wow. The righteous shall inherit the land and dwell upon it forever. Beautiful, beautiful verse, guys. I just want you to just dwell on that, think about it, ponder it, let that marinate in your brain. That when you follow the Lord in a righteous path and be in right standing with him, that he will never abandon you, he will never leave you, he will never forsake you. Think about that. How many times have you been abandoned? How many times have you been betrayed? How many times have you been backstabbed? How many times have you been left behind? Heck, maybe I made you feel that way. Maybe some of you watching me said, well, Pastor, at times I felt like you abandoned me or you forsook me. And maybe I did, and most likely it was unintentional. But you know what? I'm a human just like you're human. But I'm not here to talk about my goodness. I'm here to talk about his goodness. He will never leave you nor forsake you. I would rather have his presence than all the riches in heaven. Do you understand that? Now, would I like the riches of this world? Yeah, of course. It'd be nice to be comfortable. It'd be nice not to worry about rent. It'd actually be nice to own a house. It'd be nice to not worry about the phone bill or the car bill yeah, that'd be nice. Of course it would be. But I would rather have him. You know, the Bible never says that it's going to be either him or things. It never says that, but I'm just simply saying, for the sake of this argument, is I believe there's millionaires and billionaires out there that are miserable. But some of us, you and I, maybe you have a house or a rental, or maybe you're in a studio apartment, maybe you're in a prison cell right now, but you have Jesus. And I'm telling you right now that having the Lord is the most important thing you could ever have. It's the most treasure you could ever find, more than diamonds and silver and gold. Having Jesus is having everything. Because this life without him, I know how to live like that for 32 years. To have him is to have all you need. But the beautiful thing is that when we seek after him, you know, he can't go against his own words. Do you realize that? He can't. He's not a liar. The Bible says he's not a man that lies. So when he says, seek after me, and I will add all things unto you, how about we just trust him at his word? Quit chasing stuff. Quit chasing the material things that you feel you need. And maybe you do need them. But the more you chase it, the further away it gets. But how about you chase after the Lord? Chase after his voice. Chase after his presence. And you'll see all that other stuff fall in line. Maybe not the stuff that you want, but the stuff you need, he will provide, because he is the provider. That's one of his titles, the provider. So with that, guys, I'm going to let you go. God bless you. Thank you so much. Hopefully join us for tonight's Bible study. We're going to start in the book of Daniel. I pray it's going to be a blessing to you. So God bless you. Thank you so much. And see you guys later. All right. Bye.